Is my audio fine?
Yeah, it's fun. So for everybody watching, my name is Sammy. I've been dropshipping for on eBay for the last 7 years. And can you introduce yourself, man?
Yeah, my name is Zane, and I started dropshipping probably like 10 years ago when I was like 15 years old on eBay. I was really into making money online, and that was the first time I found something that actually worked. So yeah, I did that for a few years. I went to Amazon. That actually worked out really well for me, but I ended up getting suspended, and yeah. So basically, I'm here now trying to make eBay work again.
I'm telling you. So so Zane, like let's kind of jump into like the main topic and then we can kind of talk about some other things. So give me an update with what happened to you. Give me your story since when you started EcomSniper and then what happened up till today and then what your plan is moving forward, yeah? Give me the whole rundown.
Okay, so I probably joined in like August or September last year,
Mm.
and my first account I set up with my dad's name and immediately got suspended within like 24 hours because I used a Google Voice number.
Mm.
And then I used my own name, and then that ended up I forgot, I think MC011 after like a few months,
Gotcha.
and I just did not know how to get that back. Then I ended up using my mom's name, and I set up at the time, this was before like the status change thing.
Hmm.
And so I was using basically like the same IP for like three different accounts. And I mean, it worked. It got one account got through, the others got suspended like after a couple hours.
Right, I remember. I remember like that feels like a long time ago for some reason.
That was December.
Yeah, yeah. And then you weren't able to get those accounts back, yeah?
No, one actually stayed active for like a month
Mm.
and then got suspended. But
Any reason why it got suspended? Like, is it do you remember what the trigger was?
uh, I'm not sure. I know the other accounts got suspended like right away. And then the next one got suspended like sometime in January, like the main one, the first one I opened.
Mm. Was it the same IP as your dad's IP?
No, that one I used a mobile IP, and then I just used like the regular home internet for mine, and then I ended up
Gotcha.
setting like a Xfinity to do with my mom's name.
Oh, gotcha. So right now you basically burned two IDs.
Well, three, I guess. Yeah.
Three.
Yeah.
I forgot your one. Your one is gone, huh?
Yep, it's gone.
When did yours go, yeah?
That was probably October.
Like with Ecom Sniper?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So,
I actually think that one was it was MC011, but I think what happened was I was selling some sort of like medical thing,
mm,
and there was like three it was selling really well, like 10 times like in like one day.
oh,
And
gotcha.
so when I went to place the orders on Amazon, they actually wouldn't let you like ship to certain states, and there was nothing I could find like that was the same product.
Did
So
you
I ended up
appeal the MC011? Sorry to cut you off, dude.
no, I did not.
Oh, so h- was your did you have a spike in revenue?
I mean, I guess with those like I said, the syringes definitely took off. I think I was the revenue was pretty high on that account and it was new.
Like how much do you think, if you remember?
I know that my profit after like I don't know how many months it would have been, but was around like 1500. I'm
Gotcha.
not sure about revenue.
Gotcha. Because if it was a spike in revenue, you can recover that account.
Yeah, I actually think the trigger was the having to like cancel a couple of the orders.
Oh, okay.
But I mean,
Okay.
I'm not they didn't give me like a clear reason, but it seemed to line up with that.
True. True. What was did they remove the listings on the account? Do you remember that?
They removed some. Yeah.
No, like when you got the MC11.
Oh yeah, they removed like all but
Okay.
two, I think.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So like if your listings are still active, then it was definitely just a problem of scale. Um, but if they removed everything, then it was probably because they got freaked out for a bad buyer experience or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So so the first thing that we gotta talk about, dude, is like how not to repeat any of the problems of the past. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Otherwise, even if you move forward, you're gonna run into those issues. So how did you handle the syringes? Like what how did you like you just cancel them or did you offer an alternative?
I messaged a couple of them, but it seemed like Amazon. So I found like some products that were kind of similar. I was like, hey, do you want this?
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like, I guess, I don't know if it's just for like syringes as like a category, but a lot of those items, it didn't have the needle, I don't think, but a lot of
Gotcha.
those items didn't like ship to the certain states that the buyers
Oh,
were in. Like it was kind of like a uniform thing.
gotcha. So there was what about on a different website or something?
Yeah, I did look on like Walmart and stuff. A couple of them just said they told me to cancel it after I like got back to them. I
Mm-hmm.
think I messaged them like, would you like an alternative or cancel it? And they
Gotcha.
just said cancel it, so I did that. I didn't
And
realize that that would be like a big problem.
but how many cancellations do you remember? Was it a lot or?
It was only a few because I
Hmm.
ended the listing like as soon as I noticed that that was the problem.
Strange, strange. I'm trying to understand. It's kind of hard to tell like after the fact. You know, like we'd have to kind of dive deep into like why that account got suspended originally to be able to really make a good like verdict on what happened. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But it does make because if it's only a few cancellations, if it was a brand new account like your first order, yeah, that's a problem. But that account already had a couple sales. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So it doesn't to me it doesn't make too much sense. It was just the
yeah.
cancellation.
That was probably like it had to be over a month after I started like listing dropship items for sure.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it seems to me there was something more. Did you have any cases?
Mm. Like
eBay stepped in, any
there was
defects?
returns. I don't. Maybe there was like one negative feedback. I'm not sure. I remember I didn't have really any cases. There was a couple of returns.
Yeah, yeah. No, I got you. So the truest testament would be you since it's under your name, you should probably try to appeal it.
Oh, still, you think?
Yeah. Yeah, you should try to appeal it because it's under your name,
Okay.
right? It's like save that ID because that's the most valuable one that you have. So I would probably like log into whatever computer that you used, and then we can have another conversation about how to appeal it. But all you need to do is send them an invoice. You get what I mean?
Like, how would I get an invoice for that?
Yeah, I'll walk you down on how we go about it like after this call, if anything.
Okay.
So let's talk about your plan moving forward. Tell me what that is, yeah?
Okay, yeah. So I just ordered like four new laptops. I actually have a few. I think I have like five already, but they've already been used. So I ordered four new ones, and then I have one extra one that hasn't been used. I have five static IPs that I just got set up, and
Well,
new
the
phone
laptops,
numbers.
what kind of laptops are they?
I have two MacBooks, a Lenovo, and then like a custom PC.
I think you can reuse them though.
All of
Like
them?
like as long as you format it completely. Because if it's a MacBook, the MacBooks, the device fingerprint from a MacBook to another MacBook is virtually the same, almost.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
I'm really like trying to make sure this time nothing could possibly get them linked. But yeah, I was definitely like considering like, factory resetting the Macs at least, because I did hear that the Macs like they were harder to detect or
Yeah.
like connect.
Yeah. But even if they're linked, like as long as you start them off with all like, variations, even if they get suspended, it doesn't really hurt you. You know what I mean? Because when they ask you for the ID verification on eBay, that's when you put in the real information. But if anything gets burnt before that, you're just burning something that doesn't exist. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, so like if they were to manage to link the device, it wouldn't really matter.
Yeah, like even if all of them got suspended, like who cares? Because the greatest benefit that you get out of status change is they only ask you for the ID verification after you've proven yourself on the platform. Do you get what I mean? So you've already built like some type of rapport with them. You've already shipped out a bunch of orders. So if one of them gets suspended, like who cares? That wasn't like under somebody like pertinent because it was a variation. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely understand that.
So I would moving forward, like you've already like scaled your operation like to some degree. You know what I mean? I would go above that. Like just because like you don't have to start all of them at the same time, but just have them at the very minimum like warming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like how many static IPs did you get?
Right now I just started with 5.
Five. Gotcha. But how much is it? I know in the States it's cheaper.
For the IPs, it's they charged me $20 for the 5 IPs plus the internet plan, which was like 130.
So can you get like another 10? Because you have five computers on the way and you have five right now. So
Yeah,
just
I
make
could
10.
definitely get another 10.
Yeah, just make another 10 and like eBay lets you list 250 items for free. Just post them and let it sit. You know what I mean? But
So,
post it with review images and pick a niche for each different compute which for each different eBay account.
okay.
You know what I mean?
So you don't think it would be a problem even on like the non-MacBook computers? I mean, I know that, it doesn't really matter, but at the same time, there's
Use
also the,
Firefox.
okay. And can I use EcomSniper extension with that?
Um, no. Like it's compatible with Chrome. I would say for like the main thing that you want to do, like this is how I warm up my accounts now. I don't follow the 3 day period anymore. So what I do, just because like I don't need to follow that, I'm not really in a rush. Just because we're so busy as it is on a daily basis, you know?
Yep.
So we don't have to like if something's waiting, sometimes it takes us 30 days to even get started with an account. So we just post a bunch of items and then we get to that account in 30 days because that's just the natural progression and when we can even start it. You know what I mean? So in your case, right, I would say that the most like I would say to adopt the principle of warming up the way I do it. And the way that I warm up an account is we list real like I have a VA and what she does is she goes onto the account, we pick a niche. It can be like mugs, right? So we would go ahead and list mugs with real review images or something for like the next like 30 days, maybe like 5 a day or something. And then the moment you get one sale, that's when things kick off. You know what I mean? And because we're drop shipping from Amazon, you can get that sale fairly easily by just reducing the price.
Yep.
You can break even or maybe a little below. But once that first item ships out, you get a positive feedback from it. Then we start the process of listing like 100 items a day. But we started by listing one item, then 10, then two items the next day, four the next day, eight the next day, 16, 32, 64, and then 100 for the next 90 days.
Okay. So when you're warming up, you still like use Amazon as the supplier.
Yeah. It would be ideal to like if you actually had the items, but like the reason I like to use Amazon is because we can keep adding items to eBay, right? And just keep assimilating to the platform. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, so I would definitely, since you already have five computers on the way, if you have more computers, go for it. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna be how many IDs do you have?
Right now, I could have my sisters and her um husbands that I've already talked to them about it, and then my cousin, and then I have 2 people who haven't confirmed yet, but they seem like they're willing to do it.
What's your goal? What's your goal? Like, what do you want to let's start from there because that's the main thing. Like I'm telling you things that are like for Joe Schmo who's trying to make $1 million. If you're trying to
Yeah.
tell me like I was trying to pay my rent yesterday. I'm like, this is a different conversation.
My goal basically for okay, so short term, like let's say like next 3 months, I'd like to have like over 10, probably like 15 accounts if possible.
Yeah,
And then long term, I mean just like I don't as many as possible.
gotcha, gotcha. So it is like a grand goal. That's the main thing here.
Yeah,
You do
definitely.
okay. So you're here to make $1 million. It's not like to make like a grand or 2 grand a month or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely shoot
Gotcha.
for big on this.
Gotcha. Gotcha. You know, I feel like if anybody can pull it off, you're one of the guys. Just because of your background with what you did before, from like, do you mind sharing your story on how you what you did before this?
You mean like on Amazon?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was basically exactly the same as this in a way. I mean, it was just Walmart was the supplier, Amazon was the retailer. And I mean, sales just like took off like crazy. Like
And how
probably
much did you make in a month? Yeah.
in a month, probably like my best month it was like 40,000, I think. Profit.
One account too, huh?
Yeah, I never had any other accounts, just the
Man,
one.
man, I'm telling you, because you've seen that number, you know what I mean? You could do it.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't see that before in your life, then like the magnitude of what we're talking about wouldn't register. You know what I mean? Like like if I talk like I said $1 million, you didn't flinch.
Yeah, right.
You didn't flinch, like that's it.
I think my revenue in like I think it was 2020 was like 3.5 million on Amazon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I believe you. I believe you. Yeah. That is very important to be able to see it. You know what I mean? And then you can plan for it. So going back to the main topic, it must be so you have 4 IDs practically. Um, what would need to happen would be you have two ways to go about it. You can either like make 10 accounts under one, right? Variations of all of them, and then reserve the other three for a later date in case a repeat of whatever happened to your other accounts happens, you know? So you have like the reserve ready. Or you can go ahead and make like 10, 10, 10, 10, or 5, 5, 5, 5. What I would recommend would be to go ahead and get 2 IDs and 5, 5 for now, and then reserve
Okay.
two. But the 2 IDs that you should be using are the ones that are the furthest away from you. You know what I
What do
mean?
you mean by that?
Like for example, your parents are the ones that you could have got their IDs the easiest, right? So that one should have been reserved for like yours is like the easiest out of everybody. So these would are the ones that I would reserve for like the very end until you figure out the entire blueprint, everything is smooth and you know what you're doing. Do you get what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the easiest ones reserve it for the end. So the hardest ones, whoever's the furthest away from you is willing to give it, use those first. Do you get what I mean? So that way if it gets
Yeah,
burnt,
that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, so that way if it gets burnt or whatever, you're good to go. You know, you have another three waiting in to just recreate the process, but in a way that um like you'll be good. So what I would do would be um I would go ahead and make 5 5 with the variations. But so remember, you're not gonna be uploading the ID for like 2 months. For
Yeah.
2 months, they're not gonna request it. You're gonna have to sell a bunch of items and then they're gonna request it. So what I would do is I would get one, like I would in your case, because they're gonna be linked anyways. So just two LLCs if you're gonna use two different IDs. But if you're gonna use one ID for the 10, right? Just one LLC is fine because it's gonna all gonna be linked again in the end anyways.
Yeah.
Does,
And also like can't you I mean with this method, you can still continue to create more accounts under that ID
yeah.
even after the verification, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just the more accounts that you have, the higher chances something will go wrong in one of them.
Yeah.
Like if you made 1,000 accounts with one ID, I can guarantee you one of them is gonna shut
Yeah,
down.
absolutely.
Yeah, just because and things are not in our control sometimes, you know. Like that syringe stuff, it doesn't really seem like it was your fault. You know what
Yeah,
I
it was
mean?
just a lot of orders on that. and it turned out to be a problem.
Right, exactly. Like that doesn't seem to me like it was like it wasn't really in your control. So what I would say
There,
to go ahead.
there's one thing I could have done looking back on it is like, so as soon as I saw the first sale, like I, d I didn't had I hadn't fulfilled it right away. The first thing I did was go like change the quantity.
Hmm.
So I put the quantity to like 12 or whatever, and then those 12 just sold like right away almost. I guess probably because it was not like a like eBay ended up removing a lot of similar items even after I had removed that one. So I think it was kind of outside of eBay's policies, that
Gotcha.
particular item.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, no, 100%. Like maybe very hard to pinpoint why, but it does seem like a logical. Like I stopped listing syringes as well. For some reason, I sold those two at one time, and they sell like crazy. Like all those medical supplies and stuff like that. Like I was on a video with Mark one time, and he told me, and we found a syringe that was just selling like no tomorrow. Maybe it's the same one you found. And then we
Did you have
listed it.
problems shipping it or
I don't think so. We got a notification from eBay after, like
no?
that said that some like this is a medical policy or whatever. So we removed it. But I told him like the niche that would sell really well is these medical supplies. But we just didn't have the courage.
Yeah, they do sell really well.
They
I
do
can
sell,
attest
yeah.
to that.
Diabetes test strips, all those stuff, they sell very well. But it's just too much of a risk on the platform. Like so we went ahead and just deleted all of them and stick to like pillowcases.
Yeah,
just the just the stable, secure route. And the
right.
account is going till this day. You know what I mean?
Was that the first account that from like I think it was July of last year?
Yeah, yeah, it's still going till today. Like we didn't even list any items like in the last since that series began actually. Like that last episode of the series was when we stopped listing items. We could go ahead and end and sell similar and list and bring all the like the sales kind of went down, but if we end and sell similar, it'll go back up. But I have some other plans. Like the reason why I didn't do that yet was because I wanted to record a video on YouTube and document how to revive your account. So that account is taking a beating just because of the documentation.
Oh, okay. Didn't
Yeah,
that one get like MC11 in the beginning, or was that a different one?
that was a different account. That one was too crazy, man. We went so
Yeah, I
hard so
remember.
far. Yeah, dude. Like that was a full-on experiment on my side as well. Mark was telling me slow down and then literally just 1,000 listings a day for
Yeah,
8 days.
the account was doing really well though. That's what got me excited when I saw that. I was like, wow, didn't know you could do that, but I
And
guess you
then
can't.
and then the MCs are the funny thing is we could like we didn't submit the appeal for the MC011 for that account. We were just waiting it out. And then we kind of like got sidetracked and busy, but I think a good idea would be to submit the appeal for that and then just bring it like do it live or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to show that it can be done. So, but the second account, yeah, we just took it a lot slower from that point on forward. That first account, it really cements the idea. I actually did something similar recently too. I ended the listings on one account. I had 4,000 listings and I ended it for a whole month because we were dealing with some payment problems on eBay. So, and then all of a sudden in one day, I just end and sell similar all of them
Mhm.
like 30 days later, and the sales just skyrocket. It's doing better than when I started it originally.
Oh
You know what
wow.
I mean? So I'm thinking that having a strong impact that does make a very big difference. You know what I mean? But the first thing always is to just get the account to, in my opinion, the strategy moving forward, right, is to just have your bulk of your listings up. And these are the ones that are going to make you money. And then from there, you manipulate the algorithm, you end them, sell similar, you revise the listings, and you do all of that stuff.
So if
But
you were to do that though, would that not like, I mean, wouldn't you be effectively like creating like if you had 10,000 items, wouldn't you effectively be creating 10,000 items like right then?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I just believe that because we're doing it with eBay's functions, they might treat it a little differently because I've heard reports of people importing a Shopify store of like 10,000 items within a day on a brand new account. But because they used eBay's native Shopify import feature.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? But if you're listing it like point blank, that might be the bigger issue. Do you get what I
Gotcha.
mean?
Yeah.
So with that being said, the strategy would be to have your bulk of your listings, your 10,000 items, and then if you want to supplement your sales, you use the sniping technique. And then you go ahead and manually like force the account to a revenue that you're pleased with. And then once you have that revenue you're pleased with, right, your bulk of your items is going to start selling as well because you see it time and time again. It's the momentum that brings you the sales. It's not really the items. The
Yeah.
items are, as long as they're unique, right? They're irrelevant to some degree. Like obviously, like the buyer decides what they're gonna buy, right? But I'm talking about from the pure algorithmic sense, right? What the algorithm sees, as long as the items are unique, that is where your money is gonna come from. You know what I mean? So your plan moving forward, um, in my opinion, right? Since you already have 5 computers right now and 5 computers coming in, I would say to go ahead and get another 5 IPs, right? Set up all 10 accounts, pick a niche for each one of them, right? Manually, if you don't have a VA, you should get a VA, right? If you can afford it. I don't know what your finances are like, but if you're getting these computers, I'm sure you can like spend like $300 for a VA a month or something, but even part time, and
Yeah.
then they just manually warm up the accounts for the next 30 days. You know what I mean? And then from there, like, um, you decide to pull the trigger maybe 2 weeks into it, and then you force one sale to happen on on all of the accounts, and then you can begin the process of 100 items a day for the next 90 days across the board. You get what I mean?
What do you mean? So you can have like control over like when an item would sell? What do you mean by that?
If you put the price low enough, anything sells.
Okay, yeah, I see.
You know what I mean? So it's just about having that first sale going through smoothly, getting a good feedback, and then you just replicate it on all 10 accounts. And then the main thing is once you have your accounts ready, right? These are like assets that will go on forever, ideally. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you're really like I would say that at this point in time, like it's since you've already had like such a background, there's no need to go as fast anymore. You know what I mean? Because you're already experienced, you've seen it, you
Yeah.
know what to expect. So this time around, I would say like do it the proper way, right? Play the long game. You know what I
Gotcha,
mean?
yeah.
What would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been like in a hurry to get all this, like, but yeah, I could see that definitely like waiting, like you said, doing the warm up like that. I mean, it wouldn't be a problem, especially with the 10 accounts.
Yeah, yeah. It's because you already have too much experience not to do it like this. You know what I mean? Like for someone who let's say never sold online before or done anything, um, they would probably fall off really quickly. And even if I told them to play the long game, they're not gonna listen.
Yeah,
Like I wouldn't have listened when I first started. Doesn't
yeah,
matter who told me.
for
I
sure.
got I got one sale and then I'll just, oh, I can make money. Let me do it 1,000 times. Let me do it 10,000. Let me do it as fast as I can. Like
That's
that's
how I've always been. Yeah,
yeah, but we've been in it for too long. Like
right.
it's the right now it's not the time like we can go fast, don't get me wrong, like fast is doable, but it just must be horizontal, right? You scale as wide as you can, and if you want to go even faster, you make your net even bigger. You have 4 IDs, it's potentially 40 accounts. You know what I mean? If you
Yes.
want to do 10, 10, 10, 10, and the best part is like if I would actually separate the IPs as well. Like you have one static IPs for this block that, and they're all gonna be similar IPs, right? I would
Yeah,
get
they
the
are.
sec exactly. So I would get the like the other 10 or 20, like at the very minimum, segregate them even further. Keep the accounts as far away as possible. You know what I mean? But to the point where it makes sense. You know what I mean? You don't want to like put like make like set up a computer here, drive to New Jersey or something,
Yeah,
then do it over there. Yeah, like do it in a way that makes sense, but it's still separated enough where you have some reassurance. You know, because if one wave hits one section or one segment, you have the next segment, and it's okay, and then you can keep building like that. And then the greatest benefit is once you're able to execute this, the money is like reoccurring, like monthly. You know what I mean? Low maintenance to maintain it, and then you just have like even more capital to keep scaling or building further. Do you
yeah,
get what I mean?
I do. I wanted to go back to what you had just said though about the, so you said like keep the like IP addresses like further away from each other.
Yeah.
So would it be a problem like with my five IPs, they're basically like sequential
Yeah.
in terms of like the last number's different and it just goes up from
Yeah.
there.
So
Would that be like an
far,
issue?
so far, no.
Okay.
Right. So far, like from what we've seen, like that is not an issue. But we should prepare. Like
Yeah.
you should be as much be paranoid. You know what I mean? Like some of the things that like you can innately feel that it seems like it's a problem even without having the testimony to say it is.
Yeah, I did consider that for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And you know like it's a fair point, and we don't have any proof at all that this is a problem, but I would say take the additional step and just separate it, because what I do know for a fact is eBay checks the geolocation of the account creation. So that means that in my area, if I made 10 eBay accounts, it sets off some type of flag on eBay.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? So
Yeah.
you would want to actually separate the account creation over some time,
Yeah, that's what I
right?
was thinking.
Yes. So don't do like all 10 accounts today. Like one account today, maybe another account tomorrow, maybe another account 2 days from now, and then you do a plan to space things out. You get what I mean? And
Yes.
then if you have like another location, I would say get another internet provider over there and just set up the other 10 over there. You know what I mean? And then you should reserve like some, well, like at least one ID for a rainy day, the closest one to you. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
So that would be the way forward. And if you're gonna use the same ID for multiple accounts, might as well use the same corp in my opinion. Just use
Yeah, that
status
was my
change for the
plan.
corp.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do want to go over that. I do have some questions about like the status change and like actually the initial setting up of the account.
sure. Go
So
ahead.
like, I know we use like variations of the name. So like, should it look like a typo or is it like, can I just like, because me and my sister, for example, if I'm using hers, we have the same last name. Like, would that, because I've had an account and it was suspended, like how far off would I put like her last name?
So let me give you the results anecdotally from other people, right? So we have seen the status change work from a completely different name, like Tom Choi to Mike Jason.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, basically, if that would work.
It worked. Like I was blown away. Like the only reason we even did the variations in the name was because of our paranoia. If we changed it like at that moment, can we do status change with that? But we've seen like such an extreme example that it kind of like everybody is too scared to experiment.
Yes.
Like experimenting is expensive. It's time costly, right? But because like I'm in a unique situation where I see many people, right? And like the community members, like they post the results and like because of all of that, I was able to see these kind of results and information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to answer your question is at this point in time, a complete change in name is no problem. And I would recommend something like that.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping, and that's what I wanted to do. But okay, so and that works the same for business as well, the business name.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would even like, yeah, absolutely. I would like here's the here's the most extreme example of status change that I ever saw so far. So for someone's first name, they put their business name.
okay, yeah.
I was I was like,
Was it their real business name? Like,
yeah.
okay,
But it was an example of status change, and well, it didn't match fully. You know what I mean? They just put without the LLC part of it all. So, and it was like an honest mistake from their part too. I don't know how it was a mistake, but it was. You know what I mean? And then after I saw that, I was like, man, like,
that's
what can you
wild. Yeah,
what can you say to that? So, a, a good rule of thumb would be to switch it up. Have some
yeah.
variations, have some business names inside your name or whatever. Uh,
Okay,
the main key is not to put in information that has already been blacklisted.
right, yeah.
That's the key.
And kind of on the same lines of that, like the address I know for the residence address is just like basically a random address in your area, right?
Mhm,
But for the business address, like how would that work? Because I use like a registered agent in New Mexico and Wyoming,
mhm.
and my address is their registered agent address. So like what would I put for the address?
So I
Is
believe eBay is looking just for the operating address. So what we do is we just go ahead, whatever we put as the personal, we put that as the business address as well.
okay,
So they're not checking for the address of the business. Not over
gotcha,
there at least.
gotcha.
Yeah, and when they ask you to verify your corporation, they just ask you to send in your articles of incorporation, and then you send that in. And if you have a
Right.
Wyoming, it hides your address anyways.
Really? Oh, because when I was looking at the articles on my um from my registered agent, I looked at the articles of incorporation and it did show the address from what I remember.
Right, but when you're applying for a bank account, it wouldn't be your agent's address. It would be like wherever you're operating from. Do you get what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, but it wouldn't be like the fake address that you would enter like immediately on the account creation, right?
Yeah. From what we've seen, there's no problem.
Okay, so the address not matching up on that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, what we do is we just use the same address for the residential because we did all the homework to make sure it wasn't suspended, and we just add that as a business one.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Eh, Yeah, I was just wondering because I did see that the articles did show my business address, so
Yeah,
but yeah, sounds like
using the registered agent's address will suspend you immediately.
okay.
Like
Even if it's what if it's on the articles?
no, it'll suspend you because there's too many people that have up used that address already.
You're talking about like when you first create the account, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can't use the registered agent's address. Like we've seen it, and like it's not even a normal suspension. They literally like freeze you out of eBay because they think you're that type of fraud.
Wow.
Yeah, like I've seen it with one guy, and it's
So with
literally
that, there seem to be like very like, you know, they have high security about that. So it would not be an issue because like I said, my address is actually the registered agent's address. I didn't know that I didn't have to do that,
Mhm.
but so it wouldn't be an issue if they saw that on the articles when they do the
they
verification.
it's an AI scanning it, and they're only scanning for the article number and the name, not the
Okay.
address, and they don't even look at so we have already seen somebody register a corporation in California and they used someone else's identity, right? Someone else's name as the primary contact, and their LLC, right, in California had a whole different name. And they uploaded that and it went through.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, that's
they
good.
we just use Wyoming again because of paranoia.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you can but you really like paranoia is a good though. I think it's like this is it makes the most logical sense in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm definitely paranoid.
Yeah, you have to be, man. You have to be. Like that's how you kind of like secure like but secure yourself in the winner's table, yeah?
Yeah.
Too much like but I feel like there's a fine line. Like one guy was making, he's like, no, like I told him like you can't make an account in McDonald's. He's like, I'm gonna try anyways.
Yeah,
I'm like,
no,
that IP is completely roast. And this guy went ahead and did it, and then and
that's
then
funny.
he and then from there he took the advice. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So so tell me, do you have any other like questions regarding your process? Do you have it mapped out in your head?
Yeah, I pretty much have it mapped out in my head. The only thing I wasn't sure about was the warm up, but we kind of went over that.
Okay, tell me, repeat it back to me just so we're on the same page.
So basically, like take items from Amazon with the review images and then,
Mhm.
sell them at like break even or, you know, low
Yeah,
profit margins.
yeah, yeah, absolutely,
So
dude.
when you first do it though, like when it so let's say as soon as you make the account and you start posting those items, do you like increase the profit margin so you don't get a sale immediately?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We just do it. We do it in a reasonable price, like 24.99, 19.99, something. So the understand the reason behind the warm up. The reason behind the warm up is because accounts that are newly created are subject to scrutiny. And what that means is somebody on eBay can manually go into the account and check your listings, right? And if they look at it and they're like, oh, something's off,
Yeah.
they'll boot you from the platform, right? So what we do is we just go ahead and you have to make sure that you look as legit as possible, like low risk. You don't start off by listing iPads, no matter how legit it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's the reason. So as long as you have that part internalized, like not it's not the method, it's the idea, right? Once you understand the idea, right, there's you can put as many variations around it as you want. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's just to appear like a non-threat because we are non-threats. We're not here to damage the platform. We're not here to scam anybody. We're just doing our fulfillment from another party. You get what I mean?
Yep, for
Yeah.
sure.
So tell me this, yeah? Like last time we spoke was a couple months ago, I believe.
Yeah.
Give me your story. What happened in those couple months? Like what was going on? What were you up to?
So basically, I was there was no more like internet providers that I could find in my area to just do regular residential. So then I found out about the static IPs and I tried to get Comcast because from what I could tell, they were the only ones that would offer that, had that like at least as a service offer.
Mhm.
And that seemed to be fine. Like everything was good, but then they said that my address was like blocked.
Mhm.
So then I searched like for like there's not many providers in my area. It's a large population, but there's like very few. And then I ended up finding that one of the local ones that I had already looked at ended up adding like a business service with the static IP. So I signed up for that like just last week.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, but what have you been up to though? Like
Oh, just like
that's what I'm
regular,
asking.
just like regular life stuff. I don't know. I've
Okay.
had, yeah.
What about like business? What were you doing for an income during this time? Like,
Oh, I mean, I have some money like saved up, but this is kind of like I'm trying to get this set up now for this to be my income. Otherwise, I'll probably like just go get a job if like it didn't work out, to be honest.
yeah, yeah. Well, so during this time, like what were you doing? Like,
Well, I kind of thought I was stuck when I couldn't find like the static IPs. Like I don't have anybody like house that I could like set a computer in or anything like that. So I was kind of stuck with it, to be honest.
gotcha, gotcha. You know what you could have done is you could have reached out during that time, and we could have had a conversation talking about solutions because that is how you actually implement it. I'm not the guy who knows the most about IT. There's guys in this Discord and our Telegram like Digital Blasphemy and other guys like that, right? These guys are actually IT professionals who work specifically in security, etc. Do you get what I mean? So
Yeah.
when you network with these guys, they'll give you the solutions of ideas that you never even thought possible. I didn't even know about static IPs until like a year and a half ago. If you're watching the original videos with me and Mark, I was telling people to buy modems.
Yeah. That's what I thought for sure for a while.
Dude, that's what I thought. Like I didn't know about it until I met other guys who knew about IT. You know what I mean? And then they told me about static IPs, and then from there, like my whole method changed.
Yeah.
The very next day I went out and got it, and like it was kind of like a hassle to figure out how to use it originally, but it was mind blowing that those solutions exist, and it's just networking is the key. I would recommend you to like build relations with other guys who are doing it, so that way you can brainstorm solutions just in the event that you don't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
In
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
really happy to be a part of the group with all those like I mean, I'm always looking through that for sure.
some powerhouses in there, man. I'm telling
Yeah,
you. I'm telling
definitely.
you. I'm telling you. Like there are guys that are like much beyond, like I can't say the names, but there are guys that are doing like 2 million, 3 million in profit. You know what I
With
mean?
this
Like,
business or
yeah, with this business,
wow.
not from Amazon, but other suppliers and stuff, yeah?
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
it's all real, dude. And like one other method that you can deploy is like the agency model.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you just onboard people and then do a 50-50 profit share and then
yeah,
maintain their
exactly.
accounts and then khalas, you're done from there. So the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about was we spoke briefly on Telegram about like what happens if eBay doesn't work anymore. You
Yeah.
know, I think like from your background that even if this stuff stops working, there's always something else. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, do you know any other methods right now? I'll share some with you right after you, yeah?
Methods of
Like drop shipping or making money, like a guaranteed way.
right now, I know people doing it on TikTok. I know people doing like double drop shipping where they'll like ship it to themselves and then
Two
ship
step,
it
yeah.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
I know like
You
yeah, but
know,
those are the main two that I know about.
dude, that Telegram is flowing with like extreme experiences, right? It's not just eBay dropshippers. A lot of the guys who are in there are coming from other backgrounds and they're here to diversify or something. You know what I mean? So one of the guys, his name is King, right? Um, like I think you see him in Telegram every now and then, yeah? His background, he started with TikTok dropshipping and
Oh,
he was
okay.
very successful with that. And then he just came here. Um, so he has like the expertise for that. So if you ever wanted to go ahead and like try that, we already have like a direct point of contact. Another guy in the Telegram, let me give you the guaranteed ways to like make $1 million beyond eBay drop shipping. Like once you hear these, like you'll see the vision. So let me tell you the first method. Shopify, but the way you get your traffic is through Pinterest.
Okay, yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, and pin to post on Pinterest is free. So I interviewed another guy on my channel, right? He goes ahead and talks about Pinterest, and all he does is he has a Shopify store and he makes multiple Pinterest accounts that link to back to a Shopify store. And he just has a VA posting pictures on Pinterest all day long, and he's getting his natural traffic from there. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And he told me that if you post 10,000 pins, you'll make like 4 grand a month. It just now is learning about how to make the Pinterest account, which is seems to be easier than eBay accounts. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and the good thing about it is like doing this, we kind of have the infrastructure to just like
Exactly.
apply the same sort of thing to whatever
Exactly.
platform.
Exactly. You're a smart guy. Exactly. If you have the infrastructure, like going ahead and pivoting is not a problem, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to like learn the business model and apply it, but the idea is there. Like the rule of 10,000 items is not just an eBay specific, idea, right? Bulk theory is applicable everywhere. right? You make the Shopify, post 10,000 pins, you're good. You post now, you do it across like many more Pinterest accounts, get 1 million pins up, and there you go. You have a passive income coming in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the first way. The second way that I'll tell you, this is another interesting way. There's another guy, his full experience and expertise is using the Amazon influencer program. So, so Amazon has a program where if you take a video of you, like they let you take a video of an item and then you
Yeah, I've
post it
seen
in,
this.
you seen it, yeah? So he told me that with 1,000, with 2,000 videos, I believe, where you can make anywhere from 2 to 5,000 a month. So all you do is you just take videos, the same exact concept and theory that we're using with bulk theory on eBay, but you just apply it with videos. So you get out 2,000 videos, you're done. You have a passive income coming in. And then you just keep scaling Amazon influencer accounts, you build a whole bunch of them, and then khalas, you have another income coming in. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like these are all guaranteed ways. It's not like because of they become guaranteed when you apply bulk theory. You know what I mean? That's really the sauce in all of this. And the way you scale your Amazon influencers, like let's say you finished using your name, like you're already building the infrastructure with the Amazon influence, getting the IDs and stuff for eBay. So you just
Yep.
apply that across the board, across all of the accounts. You get what I mean? So
Yep.
that's like, what do you think of those two ideas? Give me your thoughts, yeah?
So the influencer one, like you said, the bulk, I have a hard time thinking about the bulk theory with that. Like, it seems like, I mean, you could just be shooting videos like 24/7. I mean, like, how many would you do to like apply that to Amazon influencer?
You get 2,000, and now so the real challenge at that point is getting real videos. So some of the ideas that that guy came up with that he was sharing with me was he was hiring people, like the idea was to hire people like to join them for video editing, and they just go on their Amazon account, look at the last 20 items that they bought, and shoot a video on that, and just for the application. So there you go, you collected 20 videos from one guy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit camera shy to be honest, but
Well,
uh,
you don't have to have your face. You just put the product in their hand.
yeah, I've definitely looked into it for sure. And I've
He,
also seen the Shopify Pinterest. I mean, I mean, I've always had bad experiences with Shopify. It's been a while, but like that
but that's
used to
because you had
eat
to
all of
spend.
my Amazon money, to be honest.
Exactly. But that's because you were spending money for customer acquisition.
Yeah.
But Pinterest solves it for free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was the beautiful thing about the Pinterest idea that I liked. It's like the customer acquisition free is free. Let me tell you another idea. So his name is John. He's inside the group, right?
Mhm.
What he did originally was he went on eBay and he started by selling like these game codes or whatever, and he would collect all of the customers' information, right? And he would go ahead and send them an email, and he would funnel them to his own website. So he did that with Etsy as well. He sold like these game pads or whatever, and then he would go ahead and he would collect their information and then retarget them. So he used eBay and Etsy as a lead generator. So go ahead and collect a list. If you collect a list of like 1 million people that you're blasting every other day, you have a passive income set up. Like you're done. You're you're set at that point. So if you go ahead on eBay and you collect all of their information, now you have a third business model ready to go, right? In the event that something goes wrong. You get
And you
what I
said he
mean?
did like email marketing to like his Shopify?
Exactly. He did email
Okay.
marketing to his Shopify, but he got his customers for free.
Yeah. Yeah, I've
That
thought
was the
about
genius part.
similar things when I used to do like Amazon and stuff for sure.
Yeah. Huh, the problem with all of these things is they're easy to say. It's like eBay. It's easy to say. You
Yes.
list 10,000 items from Amazon onto eBay, but when you actually get into it, it's a whole beast of its own. You know what I mean? But my point with this conversation was the doors are wide open for anybody who's willing to take. You know what I mean? Like e-commerce is here for good. Like there's 1,000 ways to go about this entire business model. Or the only benefit that we have with eBay right now is there's a blueprint that is more or less built out already. It's
Yeah.
not like we don't know what to do. It's not in the unknown territory or anything like that. That's the real magic in the eBay right now. Not the concept or the method. We already have all of this, like the concept and the theory is applicable everywhere. It's the fact that all the nuances are kind of discovered in mind. You know what I mean? And and the more you meet people, the more mining has been done for other ventures. You know what I mean? So that's the real benefit of networking, dude.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like like your Amazon mistakes, you probably pay you if I started Amazon, I'd probably contact you to find out what not to do.
probably, yes.
You know what I mean? And that how many other people are there that have those same experiences? So you just mine all that information and then there you go.
Yeah,
The path
there's
is more paved.
yeah, there's a lot of people. I remember Amazon, they like suspended almost everybody doing that model like within like a few weeks.
I'm telling you.
Just when
I'm
they
telling you.
decided to and it was over, they just shut the door on everyone.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you, dude. So so with that being said, like give me your thoughts on the other business model. Like when you hear that, like that for me, because I've seen it as well. It's not just like I've just heard about it, right? I've seen it as well from these guys they show me. So when I saw it, the confidence that I have is like we're in ecom for good, man. Like, can you really imagine going back to a job right now after all those years of trying all this stuff?
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to avoid that right now.
Yeah, yeah. Like as the only way that you'll really get booted from all of this is the moment you run out of money to survive.
Yeah,
If that happens, then you kind of get booted from this world. But if you can like survive, like let's say you can make like 500 bucks somehow work for you and you're in front of your computer, like you're gonna make it, dude. Like specifically you, right? Because you're like you're already a digital nomad from everything you told me. Like this is your field.
yes,
Everybody
for
has like
sure.
a field. This is your field, dude. So I would definitely say like as long as you are not like forced into like another world, like you're gonna make it.
I mean, I still wouldn't like, I mean, this is what I've always done. So even if I had another job, I would make it work somehow.
Exactly.
I've done that
Exactly.
in the past as well, but
Exactly. But
I'll
but
always keep coming back.
the key here is to never go at it alone.
Yeah,
Like whatever you do, like no matter what you get into ever again, like you build your relationships now, so that way you leverage like experience moving forward. Like never again in my life am I ever gonna start something alone. Right? It doesn't matter how great of an idea it is. Right? The only like I was talking about TikTok dropshipping with Mark like once upon a time when it first came out. And then like it sounded like the new best thing. It sounded exciting, but the reality is, like until someone who's successfully executing it, until they're ready to teach me personally, I'm not interested. Just
right.
because I know what's gonna happen. Like let somebody else pave the path, and then we just follow along. That's how everybody. That's how it should be. You'll save 7 years of your life doing it like that. So
Exactly. Yeah,
spend your time, man, like really like making friends, networking. That'll make all the difference, dude. You
that's
know
a
what I
good
mean?
tip for sure.
Yeah, dude.
I've not really done that with any of my businesses in the past. That's always been just like my own thing.
Well, that you need to do that though.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I said I'm very happy to be like a part of the group.
No, no, no. Sorry, I meant you needed to have gone through that
Oh
because
yeah,
that's how you become valuable to someone else.
yeah, for sure.
Like imagine like some random guy comes up to you, he has nothing of value, and then he just keeps asking you for advice. But you're busy. I mean, of course you want to help him, but you have other things to do. But when you know that guy has like a plethora of experience as well that you can collaborate with, now you're much more open to working with them and sharing your knowledge. Not because you don't want to share with them. It's just because time is so finite. You know what I mean? So once you become somebody, like you already have all this background and experience. So now you can leverage that to make connections. You know what I mean? So you had to go through that. That's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
that,
think so.
yeah, yeah. So I wouldn't say like that, like now is the time to network. When you first started, like if you were able to network, then you're just a great people person, man.
Not me.
But you don't need to be if
Yeah.
you're, as long as you're valuable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, and then we just continue doing what we can, help as many people down the road. Like really put an emphasis on helping as many people. It's gonna pay so many dividends back to you. Like I'm telling you, like if all this eBay stuff disappears, the guys who have helped, right? Like let's say you become successful on eBay, but all this stuff shuts down and then you figure out something bigger. I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna hit you, I'm like, bro, put me on.
Yeah.
And you'll probably help me.
Yeah, for sure. I've always tried to help people that like ask, like friends and stuff.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And it's like the more you give, the more you get back, dude. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. I'm telling. So hit me up whenever you need something, man, because I'm gonna be investing in you. You're my backup.
I appreciate you. I do
I'm
have a couple more things that I wanted to ask you
sure,
just about.
sure.
So the call first started, you mentioned something about like on the laptops that were already suspended using Firefox. And I didn't.
Firefox.
Okay, so just like the stock Firefox, just load that up.
Yeah. Not on the MacBooks. The MacBooks you use Safari, but
Okay.
on the Windows computer you use Firefox. And the reason why is because we found that Chrome exposes a lot of information about the computer. Firefox is much more privacy. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
And Safari as well. Like, why not Firefox on Mac?
Because Safari is native to Mac and Mac is already pretty private. You know
Gotcha.
what I mean?
And so the thing that I asked earlier, I don't think I got an answer really, was using like EcomSniper on those. Like, how would that work?
So so this is what I recommend. The moment it's done warming up, you should then use EcomSniper and start listing 100 items a day.
So go back to Chrome at that point.
Go back to Chrome. Exactly.
Okay.
Maybe export your cookies and then import it so you don't log in again.
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
always like just. I mean, I guess obviously, would I just factory reset them as well before I even do any of this?
No, like once it's set up, then I would just like transfer the session cookies. Do you know how to do that? You know what that means?
I'm not sure. No.
Okay, so your browser is logged in to eBay, right? Let's say your Chrome browser is logged in. There's a connection that's happening from your browser all the way to eBay server, right? So that connection is a cookie, right? It's a session cookie. So there's a
Yeah.
direct connection. So that direct connection, you're able to extract that cookie and put it into a different browser and you'll still be logged in.
Okay.
So basically, you're basically transferring the session to another browser without having. So when you logging out, you're terminating the session, right? You're cutting it, you're splitting it. So now you're logged out. You're not connected to server anymore. But when you take that session cook, that's why when you close your browser and you open it again, you're still logged into eBay. Why? Because those session cookies are still connected to the server on eBay. So you can take that session and put it into a different browser with that. So that means you don't have to log in again.
Okay. I'm not sure exactly how to do that. Like transfer basically your what you're doing on Safari to Chrome, like somehow.
I'll send you there's a 2 minute video that'll you just copy it, you follow the instructions, and then you'll be able to
Okay.
do it. Yeah, it's extremely simple. It's just more complicated. It sounds more it's complicated in nature, but application is simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad we talked about that because I thought there was no way I was gonna be using the other laptops that I have, which was a bummer because I have like a lot of them.
Oh no, you
But
can't use it. I would say you use it because you already have it. Use all the resources you have and
yeah,
just make more accounts. Do you know how to get the bank accounts though?
the way that I've done it in the past, never had a problem with it. Was just like setting up. I use a bank called Relay, and they give me like, I mean, I could just open up a new checking account with a click of a button.
Gotcha, gotcha. So I don't know Relay if like so, but does it cause any problems on eBay?
I've used it like I don't think so.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. So yeah, no, that's so I would say just continue using it, but have some diversity in that. Maybe go to a like Chase Bank or something and get like another five from there,
Yeah.
just to spread your eggs as far as you can.
Mhm.
Make your baskets different. You know, in case Relay is flagged or something. I don't know. Like the best is diversity, always. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Already.
Oh, and also the last thing that I have in my notes is like the new account limits. Has that changed at all? Like I haven't really heard anything about it in the group.
The new account limits. Give me an example, yeah?
So like, back last year, like the end of last year, pretty much, at least for me, every time I'd make an account, it would get like $1 million limit with like,
Mm-hmm.
I forgot how many items.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you're doing status change now, like like, what limits should I expect on just like a brand new account?
50,000, 75,000. It's more about the address than anything else.
Okay.
That's really the deciding factor and the IP. Just make it on Firefox or Safari when you're making the account. You get what I mean?
All
So
right.
as long as your account is not linked to another account, you should get a high limit.
Okay, got you. Because I had saw like I was following I don't know if it's your sniper series, but the account was like, had like almost no limits. So I was
Oh
just
yeah,
wondering.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. That one was an experiment. So that was a Canadian account. And so the premise was another user has done it multiple times on US accounts. In 30 days, if you keep getting sales, they increase the limits. So I was under the assumption, okay, Canadian accounts they're gonna follow the same rule. They didn't. So I
Oh,
just like abandoned that account. I got demotivated.
yeah.
Because
I
I don't
would
want to
definitely
I
be
don't want to snipe.
demotivated.
Yeah, dude, the because my method was not sniping, like
Yeah.
I didn't want to continue the sniping series because it was not really profitable.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? I mean, you make a couple bucks here and there, but it's the scalability of it is slim.
That's just because of like the margins, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The
But
margins are
the
too low.
if I correct me if I'm wrong, but like the reason that we snipe like after you get the 10,000 items would be basically to like establish a higher baseline for your revenue.
Exactly. Exactly. That's it, man. You're thinking. It's
Okay.
to when you have a higher baseline, eBay goes ahead and further sends even more traffic down your way.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
thought it was. Okay.
That's the real power of sniping. Any other reason you snipe, it's probably a bad one. I mean,
Yeah.
unless you you could if you're like tax exempt and things like that, it could be profitable if you scale your operation big, but then you would have to proportionately scale your Amazon setup, which is another beast of its own. So you pick your poison. It's either what you want to deal with eBay or deal with Amazon. And when you deal with eBay, in my opinion, you build longer term assets. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? An eBay seller account that's established is an asset. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But more buyer accounts, like you just created a liability, man.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that's the reason why like I prefer bulk theory over sniping. Sniping would definitely work though. Like that guy reforged inside the Telegram. He basically that's what he did. He was
Okay.
doing 60,000 in revenue a month and clearing like I think around like 15,000 from that
Profit. Wow.
profit from that, yeah. And purely sniping. But it
Okay.
was just at such a large scale. But that's why he got booted out from so easily as well. When he ran into the Amazon problems, it's just like it's crippling. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I would rather I dealt with Amazon problems for a long time and we're still gonna deal with them, but it's way more comfortable having a higher markup, lower sales, more profit on the front end. You know what I mean? Like even if an
Oh,
account makes like $50 a day, $100 a day, if you have multiple accounts, like that's a pretty solid income.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Would you say like about 10 orders a day per Amazon account? That's what kind of I was thinking. but I can be
No,
wrong.
no, like he was doing like he was getting like he had like one Amazon or two Amazon accounts, and he was getting like 300 orders a day or something.
Wow.
Yeah, so 10 orders a day, like I think you'll be fine. You know what I mean? From what we've seen, we're fine as well. And if you get suspended, you should have a backup ready, and then just keep making accounts as you go. Making the Amazon buyer account is a much easier problem to solve. Much easier. eBay is the real giant, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless you're using like gift cards, then Amazon becomes a giant as well. Gift cards are like a whole another game by itself. You know what I mean?
Like discounted gift cards.
Yeah, yeah. That's like it's like a whole nother topic, whole nother ball game. Like you'll like this is like it'll consume you.
Yeah.
Like at that point, you have to become like an absolute master of Amazon. Do you get what I mean? Of the buyer account. And I think it's just like it's not as sustainable. Like creating like eBay accounts that are just like solid, that is a sustainable business. More sustainable than anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so does Amazon not? I guess they don't like if you use the discounted gift cards. Like, what would be the
Yeah,
problem with that?
yeah. Like they just have problems with gift cards because so much scams are associated around them.
Oh, okay.
You know what
That
I
makes
mean?
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a whole nother ball game, dude.
I
Like
never even thought about that. I'm assuming there's no like top cash back for Amazon.
I think the top cashback is like 5% or something.
Oh, really? On Amazon? Do you use that?
No, I'm Canadian. I pay the taxes. I pay
Oh,
I pay like the conversion fees. I'm
I
getting
got you.
I'm getting murdered. That's the reason why I have to do such a high markup.
Yeah. What do you do? Like a 130, I think, right?
130, 120 now.
Okay.
120 is definitely way slower though. Way slower. Like I've been testing 150. Here, let's end this call and let me start another one. Give me 1 second. Do you have anything else you want to like tell somebody? Like any advice you want to give to anybody watching?
Um, I guess just like don't get like paralyzed by all like the like it's a lot, but just don't let that paralyze you. And you just, you know, make the plan in your head and just execute that plan. That's been my like what I'm going for right now.
100%. 100%. Beautifully said, man. All right, guys, I'm out.